Well, hello there. My name is HW. Thank you so much for watching Tone Junkie TV. Wow, that's some good tone. I got a brand new Mark VII and I profiled it. I had to have this amp because I've kind of been thinking about getting like a tricked out Mesa for a while, and I felt like they just released a new one. This is the one you gotta own. There are a ton of really killer, really usable sounds in here. I went ahead and I mic'd it up with a SM7B into the API. I love it. Into one of my favorite cabs, a cab that's actually historic. It's a 212 Mesa cab. It's one of the earliest cabs I used at Tone Junkie. The studio that I used to work out of was selling it. And I said, you guys, some of the earliest Tone Junkie stuff is that cabinet. I have to own that thing. I got it. It sounds freaking tremendous. Just full and crunchy, mid-rangey. I want to take you through a bunch of these tones. My favorite thing, though, that this amp does is this really just classic crunch sound. There's two versions of it, channel 1 and channel 2. I made them sound slightly different, even though I think in the amp they're supposed to sound a little more similar. They are slightly different in the amp, but for the profiles, I went ahead and made a small mic adjustment as well as making some EQ adjustments, and I think the gain stages kind of, you can hear that they're different tubes and stuff. Classic crunch, beautiful, sounds like this. So you can hear some of the differences in the EQ there, but what I really love about these crunch sounds is the separation, the note separation, and you really get it on channel 2, crunch 3, insane note separation. Check this out. I love this as a crunchy rhythm tone. It just fills up the sonic space while still being able to hear all the notes. Really incredible. Now, there's also the issue around all amps like this. Are you going to push the mids or are you going to scoop the mids? Well, where I thought it was appropriate, I tried to give both options. So there's a V in a lot of these profiles. It'll say, like for example, M7-1, M7-2, M7-3, but it'll also say M7-V1, V2, V3, and that's where I scooped the mids or didn't scoop the mids, and that sounds like this. Now that scoopiness, that's from the EQ, and that's where you can really go harder with stuff. You could certainly go hard with the crunch, but that's where, to me, guitars really make a difference. I'm going to put this more classic sounding SSV pickup away, and I'm going to get something a little higher output. The SSH from Sir is going to be a good choice for that. Yes, yes. There's also some pretty classic, like, Mesa style tones. So they've got modes for like the Mark IIB, Mark IIC, and the Mark IV. And on a couple of those, like the Mark IIC, I did the V thing again. Let's check some of those out. Now, there's also some more classic kind of sounding stuff here. The 2B. Those Mark II Marshalls are only one iteration from the Mark I, which is one iteration from a Princeton. Now, it's a pretty big iteration, but you get a lot more of that classic sort of high gain sound than you do, with the bright, crunchy, still character in it, than you get on some of the later stuff. This is MK2B2. Sounds pretty beautiful, cleans up pretty nice, sounds like this. That is a cool sound. That is a sound. That's a very Mesa boogie, like kind of, It's saturated. It's like crunchy, but it's got all that sizzle. Man, there's some good stuff in here when it comes to that. The Mark IIC, you heard it already. It's kind of similar to that and a little bit different, It wants to rock. It wants to rock. You hear all that mid-range coming in. There's also the Mark IV, which is thicker, bigger, just a different beast. By the time you're at the Mark IV, it's a completely different amp, but it's in that Mark series. dudes, that is my take on what is sure to become a modern classic, up there with the Mark IV and the Mark V, and it is the evolution of this whole series. You know, this thing with the right pedals and with that EQ can really stretch into like death metal kind of territory. That's not really my forte. So I like this thing right where I've got it, where it's punchy, it's mix ready. There's enough mids, but you still get that crunchy, bright, present thing that is a little more modern, a little more of that Southern California crunchy sound. I think it's super addicting to play, and I think this is absolutely some of the greatest crunch tones that I've ever put out in the 5-6 years that I've been doing this. This is the Mark pack I'll hang my hat on, I think. I've been HW. Thanks so much for watching. Check out the pack. If you didn't get your emails, I've sent out some free ones. I sent out some really rockin' free ones. I mean, rockin' free ones. If you didn't get them, why aren't you signed up for the email list? You know, sign up. You go to the website and sign up. You need to be getting the free stuff I'm sending out. And you can also pick up the pack on the Tone Junkie site. HW, out.